I have a question for you. When was the last time someone truly needed you? Not just wanted you around, but depended on you. If you don't have an answer to this question, that might explain why you have this hollow feeling of not being as happy as you could be. There's a specific kind of heaviness or numbness that creeps in when nobody needs you. You could be working, studying, or resting. You might even be surrounded by people. But without that direct line between your life and someone else's well-being, things just feel empty. It's a kind of a what's the point to it all feeling. What is your purpose? So if you hang around for about 6 minutes, I'm going to give you a method inspired by Alfred Adler that I found very helpful myself at a low point in my life. You could say it's an alternative to looking for your life purpose. A lot of people who experience this feeling I just described tend to think this is burnout or boredom or something like that, but it's not. It's a type of disconnection. And it can be almost impossible to diagnose this problem, especially if you were never needed by anyone in the first place. We don't have this need as children, but we very much do as adults. So at some point we got to make that transition into responsibility. We're not meant to float around in our own little universe. We need to be anchored to someone or something that would actually suffer if we didn't show up. And there's a reason why it feels so fundamental. For hundreds of thousands of years, your very survival literally depended on being needed. If you weren't useful to the tribe, like if you didn't help gather, hunt, protect, nurture, or teach, you were a burden, a liability. And here's the thing about that. Some people in the tribe weren't useful to others. And they were cast out, left behind, or didn't have any offspring, or at least less offspring than the useful ones. So we, the humans alive today, come from a lineage of people who were useful to each other. So this need to matter to others isn't just some fad or a modern crisis of self-esteem. It is absolutely ancient. It runs in your DNA. And your nervous system is built to track whether or not you're contributing. And when it doesn't detect any signals that you're needed, it punishes you with this quiet, invisible fog of the mind that makes most things feel almost pointless. And that feeling is actually, on some level, your biology pushing you back toward meaning. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe now. It is a huge help for me and it's completely free to you. So win-win. Thank you. So what on earth do you do when you feel like no one needs you right now? Well, there's nothing worse than hearing people give advice on how to fix something that's a really big issue in your life, especially if these people clearly have no idea where you're at in your life or have just never been in this situation themselves. So I just want to recognize that if you are in this situation right now, if it feels like no one needs you, it can be extremely hard, especially if you're also young and an introvert. So if no one needs you right now, how do you become needed? I actually wrote a whole little practical guide here, but I just had this feeling that anyone who needed to hear this right now wouldn't actually benefit from it. So I deleted it. So instead I want to share something with you that I found very helpful myself a few years ago when I was in a personal crisis around not feeling needed. Alfred Adler was an Austrian physician and psychotherapist who founded something called individual psychology. He was part of Freud's inner circle at one point in time in Vienna, but they parted ways in 1911. And Adler was a sickly child. He nearly died of rickets and later of pneumonia. So compared to his older, stronger brother, he was always the weak one. And one day he was sick and bedridden, and he overheard his father say to a friend who was visiting, "Aye, it's a sad business with that one." And for Adler, this hit him very hard. Like, this is who I am, this is what I'll always be. I'm the sickly one, the sad business. And that moment became a turning point in his life. He decided right then and there that he would fight his way out of his weakness. And even though he hated school and had actually sort of enjoyed all the time off due to his illnesses, he dedicated himself to his studies, and he later studied medicine, became a doctor, and eventually one of the most influential psychologists in history. And the way he tells the story when he overheard his father saying that devastating line, "Aye, it's a sad business with that one," is he realized what his life task was. So what is a life task? Well, it is not the same as a life purpose, but they are related. So Adler had no idea what his life purpose was at this stage. All he knew was that no one needed him and no one expected him to ever accomplish anything. But what he needed to do right now was obvious. He needed to do the work that was laid out right in front of him. Let me just explain this life task concept. So Adler believed that every human being is confronted with three great life tasks that define our maturity and our purpose. And they are work. That is how you contribute productively to society. Being needed at work means that you're solving a problem someone else actually relies on you for. Even if that's small, it anchors you. The sense of, well, they count on me, is what keeps work from feeling empty. Love. To love and be loved is the purest form of being needed. So in healthy relationships, romantic, friendships, or with family, the other person doesn't just want you like an accessory. Your presence makes their life feel stable and meaningful, and vice versa, even though all this is unspoken. Finally, community, belonging and improving the whole. So when you're part of a group, and this could be something as simple as friends, neighbors, a club, a team, a cause, and they notice that you've vanished, that's being needed at the community level. And here's the thing, this isn't about you. This is about you not being preoccupied with yourself, because that's when others actually rely on you. And we can sort of see how there's a trap that we can all fall into, right? Because we notice, I feel bad. Why? Because no one needs me. And then you end up just introspecting, which means thinking about yourself. But the very thing you need requires you to think about other people first. So according to Adler, the three elements of the life task aren't optional. So the life task isn't a goal you check off. It is an ongoing responsibility to integrate yourself into human fabric. So let's try to apply this to you. You're feeling like shit right now. And the reason almost certainly is that no one needs you, or at least that it feels like no one needs you. So what are the things you need to do? Well, if you're in school, you need to go to school. If you have a job, you need to go to work. If you have a mother, you need to call her. If you have a friend, you need to see your friend. You accept that right now, those things constitute your life task. Not your purpose, but your current life task. It doesn't mean that that's perfect or that you shouldn't try to better your circumstances. You absolutely should. But it does mean that A, that is your task right now. And B, given that you have to do this right now, you ought to do it as well as possible. There's a difference between this and just making it through the next day, right? Showing up to a job that you hate. So for this scenario, be a better coworker. Someone actually relies on you to do your job, whether you like it or not. So do it well. Call your mom an extra time this week, or your dad, or your sister, or your brother, or whoever family member you're close with. And the next time you see your friend, buy them a tiny little gift. If you have to do something, you might as well do it well. And here's the thing, the alternative is always waiting for something better to happen. One is passive, waiting, the other one's active. Do the things you need to do and do them better. Adler's lesson is simple. Your life task is always in front of you, not hidden inside you. This actually helped me to cope a lot with some frustrating work circumstances a few years ago. I had lost a job I really liked and that I was very good at. Then I got another job which turned out to be a real nightmare, so I had to quit it. And then I just couldn't get any type of meaningful job. And I was becoming resentful. Like, here I am, super smart, well-educated, funny, interesting, all that stuff, all these accomplishments behind me, yet I have to do this menial job at this horrible pay right now. But looking at it as my life task actually helped me a lot. This is what I need to do right now in order to keep my family and my life together. Put food on the table until I manage to change things for the better. So why not do it well? I'm gonna do it anyways, right? So why not do it well? I want to invite you to join Heart Love Theory over on School. It's a place where we're serious about building love and relationships, but we also don't shy away from some of the more controversial topics, less popular facts, if you will, about men and women and dating dynamics. So the purpose is to get smarter, not pat each other on the back. We are very civil though, and if that sounds like you, there's a link below. I'll see you there. Finally, I want to just leave you with this quote by Viktor Frankl. What man actually needs is not a tensionless state, but rather the striving and struggling for a worthwhile goal. I hope some of this was useful to you. Thanks for listening.